breaking fucking records radio.
I was checking out your discography online and looking at your timeline to see what releases I still needed to cut. And I've seen there's a lot on there from 2007. You've consistently released multiple projects every year with no gap in between. How do you keep that momentum and consistency and still maintain your dynamic year to year?
I mean, well, I think a big part of it is because Snowgoons, we are like 4 members, and everybody brings some to the table, you know. It's like, obviously, four people can do more than just one person. So that's one of the things why we have such a big outlet, you know, because like I said, everybody in the Snowgoons brings something to the table. We are a very strong team, and another thing is basically the music for us is that's our passion, you know. We are really driven by the music, and I guess if I speak for me personally, I just can't stop really. Like since I'm young, actually, I was down with the music, and I started spinning. And so even as a young kid, I was 16 years old and was spinning in clubs basically, where you even couldn't go in technically, you know.
But because you're an artist, they
so
make an exception, right?
Exactly.
Because
so,
you're so good, they're like, yo, you got to let this young guy in because you got to hear his mixes and stuff, right?
Something like that, you know. It's just, in my city where I grew up in Germany.
What is your city, by the way? I'd really like to know.
Where I grew up is called Gralsheim. It's like a very small city in the middle of Germany, more or less in the south. Okay. And it's close to Stuttgart.
Stuttgart,
I don't know, Stuttgart, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche and shit.
Yep. What up?
Like I guess my luck was there was a military base, you know, from the States, because after Germany got divided, and in the south of Germany was a lot of military bases where the Americans stayed.
Okay.
And when I was young, I got connected through my school with some kids from the military base, and I became friends. So I was chilling all day at the military base, was playing basketball and stuff.
And
so
is that where the hip hop started coming through? Like,
yeah,
he can't ball.
just as a kid.
oh, gee. Catching jokes.
Was he always DJing? You was holding the ghetto blaster, right? Playing the tapes. The other guys play basketball.
So the guys come through. Were you already exposed to hip hop in Germany, or was it mainly from the air base? Did people what kind of tapes?
I guess both, because also another influence for me personally was my uncle basically. I remember I must have been like maybe 8-9 years old when I was playing even like still with my brother like Lego and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I remember we loved to just listen to music while we played though. Like we could never really play just like there quiet. We always listened to music. And my uncle, he put on his cassette tapes though, and there was like mixed up music on it, like pop music, like Nina, 99 Balloons and shit, like all that old stuff. But there was also Grandmaster Flash, the message on it. And I remember that was my most favorite song on the whole tape, before I kind of even knew that this is hip hop or this is rock, and like I didn't even care about genres. I just cared I just like music in general. And I realized like that song was my favorite song on the tape. I even knew sometimes, like when you know back in the days when you just had like tapes basically or vinyl, I already knew how much I need to push forward to go directly to that song, more or less, you know, like I knew the time.
Even from like analog.
Yeah, because you know you couldn't skip back in the days. You just had to push forward or backwards, whatever, if you want to hear something. And
I remember that with the jungle tapes, man. Just go.
You know? So yeah, and that was one of the influences, I think. And then obviously, the military base, because it's like I was hanging around with all the kids, and they was all into hip hop and stuff. And
what kind of tapes were you getting exposed to it? What kind of stuff were you hearing in that era?
Like I said, there was just my uncle with like mixed up music, basically pop music, you know, soul, Michael Jackson, whatever, any kind of music. But like I said, the Grandmaster Flash, that song when that came out, that was my favorite. I don't know, I heard it was different. Like the song is called The Message, and it was kind of a message to me. Even if I didn't, at that time, I didn't understand any words of English. Like I just spoke German. But I could still feel the message, I guess, in a way, you know. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's if I think about it, sometimes that's crazy. So that's and then like
I still feel like
the
that's
earliest I can remember when I kind of realized this is the type of music I really like. I actually got some records, Run DMC, for example. You know, like all the late 80's basically stuff. And my first record that I actually ever bought was Me, Myself and I from De La Soul.
Oh,
which came,
Me, Myself and I.
Yeah, but you know, it was just because not that it was my favorite song or record, but it was just basically in my little city, the record section they had there was like probably like 2 grades or whatever. It was a super small store, and that was pretty much the only hip hop record they had. So
and we're talking back in the day when it was only records, only
vinyls.
This was
1990, you know, like it's like there was no internet, like no nothing, you know, like you couldn't just go online and look up some stuff, you know. You had to like go out, explore, and like even like TV and stuff came a little bit later for me. Like the first hip hop thing on TV was Yo MTV Raps in like '92, I believe. Yeah. Because we didn't even have cable TV back then, so we never had like MTV or any American TV. But
I can imagine in Germany back then.
You know,
they didn't want that at all. Like it came much later, right?
Nobody know that shit basically. And then, but we moved to a place and they had already cable in there basically. So I remember, that was pretty much the first time I turned on the TV there after we moved in, and then I turned on MTV and I was like, oh, MTV, I heard about this, yeah, dope. So I was watching, and then like a couple minutes later, Yo MTV Raps was coming on, and I was blown away. I saw like, you know, NWA videos and all these videos. It was the first time I ever see like hip hop videos, and I was really blown away. I just stood in front of the TV. I think I even didn't sit down. I was just standing in front of the
just
TV,
an amazement.
and then put in the VHS tape and like recorded it and watched this shit all over and over all the time. Like, you know, I mean, back then it was just a different time, man. You know, nowadays you just go online, do whatever you want, listen to whatever you want.
You forget it half the time.
But back then you have to dig and really like, you know, like enjoy it.
Do you think it's that kind of the era that you're from that give you the kind of the integrity to keep it moving the way that you do? Because you're coming from where you've had to really work hard to even be a fan of hip hop. So you think you maybe carried that into your music? Because I just wanted to kind of understand like how you keep putting so much music out so consistently, and you know, you're one of like the only groups that is like so big in the hip hop scene. You know what I mean? I just think it's quite an extraordinary, you know, like feat you've managed to accomplish, like being from Europe.
I mean, yeah, you know, in my case, it's really safe to say that like hip hop saved my life, like, and I really mean that. It's like, I know it sounds like some, you know, shit that everybody's saying, but like literally, like I knew already, like I dropped school and like I worked a little bit, and it's not like that I don't like work or something. I work quite a lot though to buy my first turntables or something.
I bet you got to work a lot right now, right?
Stuff, you know, so I don't mind like physical work. It was just like, I always knew I need to go my own way and do my own thing, like no matter what it is. Back then I didn't even realize that it was basically music, you know, because I just loved to do it, and I was never thinking about like, oh, this is gonna be like some sort of my job or like my income or whatever. I didn't even think about money. I just knew I need to go my way, and I love the music and I like to do that. And so with that being said, like now hip hop is really giving me identity, and it feeds me, and it's like basically, like I said already, my passion, and it gives me everything I need. So it really saved my life, like it formed me, and for that I'm always going to be grateful to hip hop and the hip hop culture. And I guess that's also another part, like why we always gonna do our thing and keep it, you know, basically keep it real and keep it true to the culture, you know. Seriously, like it's a sort of responsibility you have too, you know, like too many people abusing that. And I grew up, I'm fortunate enough to grow up in the poorest form of like the 90s hip hop era, you know, where people originally the golden era is the late 80s though, because
people don't know that, right? There's 10 years of rap before before the 90s, right?
You know, what's also funny, like when we grow up in that time, for us that hip hop, like, you know, Wu-Tang Clan, Nas, Mobb Deep, all that 90s stuff, for me that's not old school, but I see now the younger kids, they call that old school.
Yeah.
For us the old school is like the 80s.
World class wrecking crew.
Breaking fucking Wreckords Radio.